Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. Today is the first video that I'm doing since I got married. I'm now a married woman and I'm so excited to get back to filming. I haven't filmed a video in such a long time because if you guys have been through a wedding, you know that it is incredibly stressful. You have pretty much no time to do anything else. So that is why I now have a lot of time on my hands and I can finally sit down and do a video. And this one is the brand new Chanel collection and I'm so excited for this because I saw Erin Nicole do this video a little while ago and I really wanted to get my hands in it because I think it came out in the US before it came in the UK, and I got two pieces. I'm so excited for it. The Beige collection is what I always look forward to every spring and summer, and they also did a Beige collection for Winter Glow. So it's very strange because they've been bringing out so many new collections and I really can't keep track of them because of how many that they've actually brought out. So I picked up a product from the Beige collection and also a new collection they've released as well, and I'm so excited to test both of them out. But like I said, I am back now. I can film loads more videos, I can upload loads of videos, and I wanted to get this video up, and I really like getting videos up when a product is brand new and then you can see what you think of it and if you like it, if you don't, before it sells out, because usually the Beige collection, it is limited edition and it usually sells out very quickly. Like I mentioned, I am married now and I don't have any stress going on. I have so much more time on my hands because I'm not planning a wedding, so I can upload a lot more videos for you. And I did have quite a long time off of YouTube just because of how stressful it was and how busy I was. But I am back. I'm doing brand new videos. I'm also going to edit the old videos that I managed to do before I got married, but I just didn't have any time to edit them. So I will be doing a video very soon on the wedding and everything like that, so you can see how it went. Also keep your eyes peeled on social media because I will be putting up some more photos when they come through as well. I'm so excited to see the rest of the photos and it was such a beautiful day. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and go into this video, which is on the brand new Chanel collection. There's actually two new collections that they brought out. So anyway, if you want to see me test out these products, then just keep watching. As you can see, I don't really have much makeup on. I have foundation, concealer and my powder on because we're testing out this first product from the Beige collection, and this is the Beige Healthy Glow Sun-Kissed Powder in the shade Medium Coral. Now I did see Erin Nicole had Medium Coral and then Medium Rose Gold, and I thought this one actually looked like it was going to be the best one for me. It came out on the website yesterday. Not yesterday, the day before. It came out on Thursday. Went on the website, ordered it, did next day delivery. I got back from my holiday yesterday and now I'm filming it today. So literally it's been on the website for less than 2 days. And the packaging just looks the same as the other Beige collection, so just the white packaging. And then on the inside, again, you don't have the cover, which I wish they did, because it looks so much better when they actually have the pouch on it. And then this is what it looks like. So it's a mega size compact. It is huge. And let's see what it looks like. Ooh, okay, this is actually much prettier in person. Because it only just came out on the website the other day, I didn't actually see it in person, so I didn't really manage to swatch it, but these shades look absolutely beautiful. And I got the medium shade because my foundation shade is BD31 in Chanel foundation, so this tends to be the best one for me. Light tends to be too light, deep tends to be too deep, and medium tends to be the best shade for me. But look at these colours, they are so pretty. So you have the coral pink in there, you also have the bronzer, and then you also have the highlighter. I don't know if you can see, but it looks a little bit like it's squiffy. But I don't mind that because at the end of the day, all I'm going to do is go in with my brushes anyway. So I'm going to try and do it individually today because I want to see what it looks like with the bronzer, blush and the highlighter separate, so you can see what it looks like on my skin tone. And then in another video I'm probably going to mix them all together because you can do both of them. And I feel like this would be the perfect product to travel with because you have your bronzer, blusher and highlighter in there, and this would have been so much easier if they actually brought this out before I went on holiday, because then I could have used this. But yeah, it looks really pretty and we're going to go ahead and try it out. Now this does retail for £75, so it is very expensive. However, you do actually get 15 grams of product in here and a blush from Chanel, which is I think about £40. That has 3.5 grams. So the fact that you have more than a blush in here, so you basically got a 5 gram blush, 5 gram bronzer and 5 gram highlighter for £75. It actually works out cheaper than if you were to get these individually because of the sizes of everything. So it's very expensive when you put it all together to buy one product, and if you buy them separately it will be more expensive. But yeah, it's a lot of money spent in one go, but I like the fact that you have the 3 in the one, so hopefully it's going to work out well. On the website, these retail for £75. You have 5 different shades that go from light to deep, and they all look absolutely beautiful. The only thing is the medium bronzers look exactly the same, and then the deep bronzers look the same. So there's only a little bit of variation with the highlighter and then also the blush. So it all just depends which one you prefer. It says a trio of energizing shades that can be worn individually or blended, designed to illuminate your face, warm up your complexion, and bring out the colour in your cheeks. A sun-kissed healthy glow effect that lasts up to 8 hours, and if you had spent the day in the great outdoors, flawless and tailor-made all year round. The bronzer is a warm shade with bronze accents for a naturally sun-kissed look. The blush is a vibrant shade in either a rosy or coral hue that brightens up the complexion, and the highlighter is a pearly shade with luminous iridescence that catches the light. I'm going to start off by doing some swatches on my hand so you can see what they look like, because I'm actually very intrigued to see what the highlighter is going to look like. It doesn't look too shimmery in the pan. It looks more like it's going to be like a matte highlight, which I don't like. So I'm hoping that it's going to look nice. So let's see. Okay, so that highlighter is very, very pale. I'm just going to build it up a little bit more on my hand because it looks very similar to my actual skin tone. You can't actually see it on the swatch. Let me do a little bit more of the blush. Yeah, so the bronzer is very, very pigmented. The blush is pigmented as well. And then the highlighter, I don't know if you can see it, but the highlighter doesn't really show up much on my skin. But it is more like a wet look. It doesn't look like a shimmery highlighter. It's like a wet look highlighter. But yeah, that actually looked quite nice on my hand. Just a highlighter I'm a little bit worried about. But on my finger, the highlighter looks very pretty, if you can see. It's pretty much stained my fingers. Yeah, so you've got the blush, bronzer and the highlighter, but the bronzer was actually the easiest to swatch. I'm going in with the bronzer first. I'm just going to take my tapered blush brush, and this is what I use all the time for my bronzers. I don't have any bronzer on my skin at the moment, but I would usually go in with a cream bronzer if this was an everyday look, but I wanted to see what the colour payoff was like and what it looked like on the skin, so I didn't really want to mix it with any other products because sometimes I just like going in with a matte bronzer instead of a cream bronzer first. So I'm going to try and pick up the middle part. It's going to be quite hard, but we will see. Good job that it's a tapered brush. So I'm just going to take this. There doesn't seem to be any kickback or fallout in the pan either, which is good. Yes, that's what it looks like. There's no kickback at all. I think I may have taken a little bit too much bronzer on my skin, so I'm just going to go back in with my sponge, which is what I use for my foundation, and just try and blend this in. Okay, we're looking good. We're looking much better. Let's take a little bit more. I actually think this bronzer shade is perfect for me. It's not too deep and it's not too light. Even if I do get a deeper self-tan, this can work out really well for me. So it's a really perfect shade for me. I like how it blends. It is so pretty. I used too much, so I had to go in with my sponge, just try and even it out a little bit, and then I just went back in. But it blends out beautifully. As you can see, this is with no bronzer. And then this was the bronzer. The bronzer looks so pretty. I don't usually go in with just a powder bronzer. I like to lay down a cream bronzer first. But this shade is so nice. I really like it. I feel like it is so pretty. So yeah, I'm going to go in with a blush. And I'm going to just basically do one side of my face so you can see the difference. For the blush, I'm just taking a duo fabric brush, which is what I use all the time. These brushes are clean. I cleaned them this morning. But they do obviously still have residue from the colour of the products that I use. So I'm just going to take this one. It's so pretty. I don't want it to be too crazy, but I love coral shades. I'm hoping that you can use a light hand with it. Oh, okay, that is really pretty. This is literally the shade I always go for. It has a little hint of shimmer to it as well. It's really nice. It does really remind me a lot of my Wet n Wild blush that I use all the time. I always compare blushes to that because that's one that I use all the time. I also used it on my wedding day and it lasted all day as well. So it's one of those where I know that it's a tried, true and tested product. That is so pretty. I really like that. I'm going to put some on my nose as well. Yeah, I love this shade. This is literally perfect for me. I did see Erin Nicole did the video on the rose gold one and I felt like it was a little bit too cool tone. I have so many cool tone blushes because I did pick up the entire Healthy Glow Winter Glow collection and most of those are cool toned other than one of them, so it's one of those where I didn't need cool tone bronzers, and I don't really tend to go for them because naturally I am incredibly pale if I don't have a self tan on. Like, I am the palest of the palest, and I have a neutral undertone, and using a cool tone blush tends to wash me out a little bit, so that's why I tend to go for the warm tone blushes, just because I feel like it goes better with my complexion, because I don't really want to look too cool toned or too washed out. But I really like this. I feel like this is such a pretty shade. So it does have the iridescence. I'm not too sure if you can see, but yeah, this is with nothing on, and this is with the bronzer and the blush on. And for the highlighter, I'm just going to take my fan brush, which I always use. This one's from Real Techniques. I use it with all of my highlighters because sometimes you want a subtle glow, sometimes you want to build it up, and this gives a perfect amount of glow. So I'm just going to take this. This is so much easier to use a fan brush because I can really get in there, because it's such a, I wouldn't say it was a small area for you to get your brush in, because I've done pretty well so far with both of my big brushes. So we're just going to take some of this and then pop it on. Oh, okay. That is so pretty. That is really, really nice, that glow on there. I'm actually quite blown away, because I know people tend to not really like palettes from Chanel. I have the blush and eyeshadow palette, the one that came out, I think it was last year. That was really bad, and it was the same price as this. And this has so much more pigmentation, and it just looks so nice and put together. Yeah, I really like that. So this is with nothing on, the blush, highlighter or bronzer, and then this side I have all of it on. I feel like it's so pretty. Yeah, I absolutely love this, and I'm going to put some on the bridge of my nose as well. Oh, that's really, really nice. This would be perfect to take away for travels, because everything is pigmented, but you can also get into each individual pan quite easily with a big brush. I'm going to go ahead and do the other side of my face, and then we'll come back and try out the other product that I have. Bronzer, blusher and highlighter is all done, and it looks so beautiful on the skin. I'm so happy that I purchased this product, because I feel like this would be perfect for travel. I feel like that I'll be wearing it a lot, because every single shade works so well for me. It's very pigmented, and I was shocked because I've heard that the blushes from Chanel aren't that pigmented, and I've never tried a normal blush from Chanel. I've only tried the limited edition ones, and I like the pigmentation of those. And I have heard from a subscriber that apparently the usual blushes are very, very sheer, a very sheer wash of colour. So I wasn't really sure what I was going to expect with this, but you know what, I really like it. I love the highlighter, the bronzer and the blush. All of it is so pretty. So now I'm going to try out the other product that I purchased, and this is from the Ombre Essentielle collection. Now this is brand new. These are all individual eyeshadows. Now I don't ever go for individual eyeshadows, just because I feel like I don't really need one eyeshadow, and I don't really see the point personally, but I know that some people really do like collecting those ones. So I saw that Erin Nicole actually had this on her video, and as soon as it came out on the website on Thursday, I decided to go ahead and get exactly the same colour, because I knew it was something that I was going to use. If I'm getting an individual eyeshadow, I want it to be something that I don't have in my collection. I have so many eyeshadow palettes, and I don't really want something that I can duplicate. I would rather just have something completely different, and for me this is something that I don't have in my collection. So this is the Ombre Essentielle Top Coat Multi-Use Eye, and this one is in the shade 220 Blanc Perle, and it's also a satin formula. Now again, I've never had an individual eyeshadow from Chanel before. I love the Beige palettes. They are perfection. I love the pigmentation of all those. The quads aren't really the best for me. Some people really like them. I personally don't like those. I prefer the Beige ones. But this is supposed to be a completely new formula. This is supposed to be very pigmented, blends really nicely. So I'm hoping that they're going to sort of incorporate this into their new quads that they're going to be releasing. I hope they don't reformulate their current quads, because that would be a little bit annoying, because I've got used to the pigmentation. But I'm hoping that with their new ones that they do tend to bring out the new formula for those. So this is what it looks like. I've never had an eyeshadow from Chanel before that's an individual one. Have the little pouch as well there, which is really, really cute. And again, this one is in the shade 220 Blanc Perle. Now this I saw on Erin's video, and this was the one that I knew that I wanted. I didn't know this was a top coat. I thought this was part of the eyeshadow, and then when I went on the eyeshadow I couldn't find it, and I was like, what's going on? And then I went on to the what's new side, and I saw it on there. So it looks literally just like a plain white eyeshadow, but it actually has flecks of pink glitter in there, and it's very iridescent as well. It is so beautiful. And you do also get 3 brushes, and these are absolutely tiny. I have no idea why you have 3 brushes in here. So you have the standard sponge tip applicator, and then you have a double-sided one which is more like a brush, and then you have one that's more like an eyeliner. So I suppose this is good if you are traveling and you just want to have an eyeshadow that you can use for everything. Personally, I would not be able to use this for eyeliner because I'm so naturally pale. The eyeshadows retail for £36, and I think that is pretty expensive, as being as I can get an entire eyeshadow palette for £36 with 12 eyeshadows in there, and you can get a Chanel quad or a quint and it's about £50. So I feel like that's quite expensive, but these eyeshadows are massive as well. And it says on the website, illuminate an eyeshadow with a sheer wash of pearlescence or make the eyes pop with a pearly white. The Ombre Essentielle top coat can be laid over another shade or used by itself for a natural looking satin sheen. The top coat glides onto the desired eye area in a single swipe. The eyeshadow blends seamlessly onto the lids and wears like a second skin. Its formula enriched with sage oil offers a sensory appeal of a new ultra soft and creamy powder texture. An emollient system for an ultra soft and creamy texture, a manufacturing process that allows for a high shine pearlescence and luminous shimmer. Now this is also suitable for contact lens wearers, which is perfect, just like all Chanel eyeshadows. This is a huge eyeshadow. This is 2.2 grams. And let me compare it to what the quads are, because this is absolutely massive. Let me just get a quad and I'll compare it. So I have a quad and a quint here, so I'm just going to see the size. So actually, that's so weird. So a quad contains 2 grams of product, and this one contains 2.2 grams of product. So you actually get more in one single eyeshadow than you do in a quad, which is good, because if you only like one eyeshadow in a quad, then you can pick up the eyeshadow bigger. And then you've got the quint, and the quint is 4.5 grams. That's why I really like the Beige ones, because you get more product in there, and also the pigmentation is better and the blendability is better as well. So this contains 4.5, so double the amount that's in here. However, again, if it's something where you only like 1 shade out of a palette or 2 shades out of a palette, then this would be pretty good actually. What I'm planning on doing is doing something that is very, very easy to do. However, it's probably going to turn into something completely different. So I'm just going to take this Tarte Toasted Eyeshadow Palette, and you can see how used it is. It's used and abused. I use the eyeshadow palette so much because it is so good. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take Cashmere and Latte, and I'm just going to mix these two and put these in the crease, because I want it to be very, very neutral. I don't want it to take off of the pearlescent eyeshadow. And again, this is a clean brush from today. So I'm just going to take my finger, which is what I always use for shimmer shades. Just going to take a little bit. Oh, okay, this is really creamy and it's showing very, very pink on my finger. I'm so excited for this. Let's apply this. So it says it can be used on its own or as a top coat, but I really just want to see what it looks like on its own. Oh, that is so pretty. That really shows pink on here. You'd think that it'd show white, but on my eye it's pink. That is crazy. Pigmentation is definitely there. I really like this. I feel like this is such a beautiful shimmer shade. It's not overly shimmery though. I thought there'd be more shimmer to it, but it's not as OTT. But I think it all just depends what eyeshadow you put underneath it. But yeah, this is so nice. I'm going to take a little bit on this. Ooh. I'm going to take a little bit on this brush. I'm just going to pop it on the inner corner. Yeah, it definitely works a lot better with a finger. So I'm going to take my little finger. I think I'm going to sort of deepen the look up a little bit, because I feel like that it is very, it's not super opaque, but it's not super translucent. I just feel like that it needs a little bit more colour in there. So I'm going to take a little bit more. Just pop that on there. I'm going to take a slightly deeper shade. I'm going to take Candle right here. I'm going to pop that in the outer third and see what that does. Yeah, I feel like it looks better now that I've deepened it up a little bit. But it is so pretty. Like on its own, I really like it. It's not too OTT, it's not too shimmery. I feel like that it's very, very nice. So I'm just going to take a little bit more of this. I'm going to put it on the bottom lash line. Oh, that is really, really nice. I really like this. I'm hoping it's showing up on camera because of how nice it actually is. I'm just going to apply this to the lid without any crease. And I think it definitely looks better with a crease shade. Yeah, it doesn't really show up too much. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of cashmere and I'm going to put this all over the lid just so it's a base, and then see what the top coat looks like over the top of it. Oh, okay. That looks really nice as a top coat as well. Oh, I don't know if you can see that, but it does sort of change it a little bit. It seems more warmer with the base coat. That is really nice. I really, really like that. I feel like it's nice on its own and then also with the base coat. But now I've got to sort of even it out a little bit. So I've got to put some of the base coat on this eye. And then pop this over the top. That is so easy. That literally just takes something looking... It makes it look completely different, as you could see, because one was quite cool toned, and then adding on the warm tone, very, very pale base shade. Cashmere is very pale. It's a very, very pale base, as you can see here. And that just went on so nicely. So eyeshadow is all done. I'm going to go ahead and finish off the rest of my makeup. I'm going to come back and let you know what I think about each of these products, if I'd recommend them, if I wouldn't, and then also I can see what they look like in natural lighting as well. I'm back and I've finished off my makeup, and this is what it looks like, and I absolutely love the way that my makeup looks in natural lighting, also in filming lights as well. It looks so good. Both the products that I've tried out today I'm actually blown away by, because I didn't think I would genuinely like them, because I've had some not very good experiences with some Chanel products, and I feel like that sometimes I really just lump them all together. But in all honesty, I like both of these products. I feel like that they're really good. As you can see, the blush, bronzer and highlighter are here. Looks beautiful. These products have been on for about an hour now. I've sort of had a play around with some other products that I've tested out today on my eyes, so it's been on for about an hour. So I like to see what it looks like after a while, because sometimes you can put a powder product on and then it can just glide away very, very quickly. These ones are still on. They still look like how they looked when I first applied them, and in all honesty I am shocked, because I didn't think I'd like this palette as much as I actually do. So I love the fact that it is massive, and you also get 3 little products in there. So you get the blush, bronzer and the highlighter. This is 15 grams, so it works out to be 5 grams for each product. If you get a blush from Chanel, I've looked on the website, it's £44 for a 3.5 gram blush from Chanel. So I worked it out, and I'm just basically taking the price of the blush if you buy it on its own. So it would be £188.57, which would be how much you would be paying for this amount of product if it was blush. So that's probably the same for all of the powders, because I don't think you can get a powder bronzer anymore, and I'm not really too sure about the highlights. It tends to be that they have the limited edition highlights, so it works out to be about £188. So yeah, that is a lot of money, but this again is £75. So it's one of those where you've sort of got to think about if you would spend £75 on 3 products. If you get drugstore products, they are much more affordable. If you get individual Chanel products, then they are obviously more expensive. So if you like Chanel makeup, I think you should just go ahead and get your hands on it. It is very pretty, and I'm going to be using this a lot. And in all honesty, you get a really, really good value for money considering how much products you actually get in here. And also the pigmentation is so nice. It blends so easily as well. You can build it up very easily. I like the fact that it's quite big for each of the pans, so even though that they are separate and it's a third of the pan, I can easily get my brushes in there. I don't have any issues, and I love the shades of them as well. The coral shade, perfect for my skin tone. The bronzer, perfect shade for me now, and then also if I had a little bit more of tan on. And then the highlighter, perfect as well. It's like a champagne, and it's like a wet look. It's not like a glitter. And I like the fact that you have a little bit of glitter or shimmer in the blush as well. I feel like that it looks so nice. It will look perfect for summer, and I actually can't wait to keep using this, because it's just such a really pretty palette, and it's just something that I know that I'm going to get my use out of. So again, £75. You have to work out if you want to spend that money in one go on these products. If you do want a new blush, bronzer and highlighter, this is a great product for you to get. However, some people are more interested in their drugstore, and completely understand, because I have a lot of drugstore products I love. Like I said, my Holy Grail one is Wet n Wild blush, and that's like £5, so super affordable. But what I will do is, for those of you who can't afford this, or if it does sell out and you can't find it, I'm going to try and find some dupes in my makeup collection and sort of see if you can basically make this more affordable. So I'm going to be on the hunt and see what I can find in my makeup collection to see if I can find anything that's similar to this. But I like this. I feel like it's so pretty. I'm glad I got this shade. This shade is perfect for me. And then the Top Coat eyeshadow. Now this, again, very expensive. It's in its 30, I think it's like £34. So it is pretty expensive for one eyeshadow. However, you get 2.2 grams of products. You get more in here, this one single eyeshadow, than you do in the quads from Chanel. So that is crazy. I love the formula of this. I feel like it is very creamy, very buttery, glides on very nicely as well. I love the fact that in the pan this looks like it's white, but when it goes on the eyes it's like an iridescent pink. And I love the pop of colour they added to my eyes. It just looks so pretty. I'm not too sure if you can see, but yeah, it looks absolutely beautiful. I would happily use this on its own, also as a topper. Now it is expensive for being £34 for an eyeshadow topper, so it's one of those where you have to think, is this something that you'd spend your money on? Now again, the reason why I purchased this is because it's so different from anything else that I have in my collection. I genuinely don't have an eyeshadow that's the same as this, which is why I got it. I'm not someone who's just going to buy individual eyeshadows that I have loads of. I mean, for instance, I have two Tarte palettes right here. The ones I always go for. I have the Tartelette in Bloom palette, and these are more cool toned eyeshadows, and then I have the Tartelette Toasted palette, which is more warm tones. As you can see, use this a lot. As you can see, this one, use this a lot as well. So for me, these two are my go-to eyeshadows. If there are any eyeshadows that they have individually, there are any of these, I'm not going to buy them because I already own these. There's no point. I can get them in a palette. So to have this one, which is completely different, I don't own this in any of my other eyeshadow palettes. This is something that I feel like is worth the money for me, because I am going to get my use out of it because it's so different. It does look a bit horrible at the moment because you can see I've got some of a different colour eyeshadow on there from when I'm swatching. But I also like the fact that you get the 3 eyeshadow brushes in there as well. I love this formula. I feel like this formula is very, very similar to the Beige eyeshadow palettes, which I absolutely love and adore. So I'm really happy with the eyeshadow. I feel like it is so pretty. Now I do want to try out some of the mattes, but really of eyeshadows that I don't already own, because like I said, it's one of those where I sort of have to think about if I'm going to use it. If I'm just going to get an individual eyeshadow that I already own, I'm probably not going to use it. I'm just going to stick to my palette. So I'm going to have a look at the matte shades and see what they have for the actual eyeshadows, because this one, like I said, is a topper. Then you have the eyeshadows, and I think there's about 12 shades of the eyeshadows. Now they all look absolutely beautiful. I saw a sage green one that Erin Nicole was wearing, and it is stunning. However, I know that I'm not really going to get my use out of a green eyeshadow, so I'm going to have a play around. I'm going to go to my local store and sort of swatch them and see how they are. Then if there's anything that catches my fancy, then I'll go ahead and maybe pick up one of those. But this one isn't limited edition, but the Beige palette is limited edition. So it's one of those where you got to sort of think, is it something that you're going to use for being that amount of money? So overall, I'm blown away by both of these products from Chanel, and I actually really recommend both of them. But again, it's one of those where if you want to pay the money for it, you have to decide if you're going to get it. Because for me personally, I love this palette. I feel like that this is definitely worth the money, but it is a lot of money to spend it in one go. And then the eyeshadow is very, very beautiful. So different from anything else that I have, and I love the way that it goes and swatches on the eye. It's such a beautiful shade, and I love the iridescence. So these two are going to be my rotation because I love them so much already just by using them in this video. But I will obviously keep you posted and let you know how they go throughout the rest of the day, and also when we're trying them several times, because you can like a product when it first goes on, but then it might not last a long time. So we'll keep you posted on these. I'm also going to do another video of me swirling my brush in all of these 3 shades, just so you can see what it looks like in the skin, because I wanted to do them individually today so you can see what they look like individually and also do swatches. You can also see that the swatches are still in my hand as well. So this shows you how long it's going to last for. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. If there's any products from Chanel that you like or that you don't, just comment down below to let me know. Also, if there's any products that you want me to test out, let me know as well. And make sure to give this video a very big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in my next video, guys. Bye!